Hello and welcome to Thumbs Up, the photography show.
We've come up with something a little bit different that may well be a shambles.
And this is what's coming up in the next few weeks.
The team takes to the road to explore a photographer's sweet shop. Dave and Gary actually pretend they have friends. Colin needs a few more inches. Dave contemplates impending doom.
Whoa!
And Martin shares his photographic mind.
Lemon freezer.
Gary looks manly.
There he is now, look.
Steve shows off his darker side. And to be fair, he deserves this abuse.
Rubbish!
That's quite tame, really. And Gary shows off his gazelle-like dexterity. So welcome to the show. It's going to be a blast.
On the rare occasion that us lot are together, the Thumbs Up crew, we've been blessed with blue skies in the beautiful Whitby. What we're going to do as landscape photographers shooting on midday. What we're going to do. What's the plan, Martin?
Wow. We had breakfast.
Dave, are you enjoying that? Black pudding?
It's really nice,
not
mate.
black pudding, your haggis?
Yeah, no,
haggis.
lovely
You enjoying your
breakfast.
haggis?
Fantastic, mate.
You enjoying yours?
Oh, beautiful, full
Yeah?
English.
Full English?
Oh, spot on, mate, spot on.
You enjoying, I know you like a sausage, Martin?
Love a sausage.
Yeah?
You enjoying yours? Yeah.
Mine's so nice, so nice. And Colin, are you enjoying yours?
I would be if I got it. I've forgotten it.
Forgotten Colin.
We had a conversation. We looked at the sky, realised how rubbish it is for landscape photography, and I came up with the idea of doing street photography. I've never done street photography before. I have no idea what's going through my head.
Nor me. Have any of you lot actually done any street photography? Does any of you lot know what we're doing?
Nope.
This
No
is
clue.
going to be a shambles.
I don't even know what settings I'm supposed to use.
Instead of calling us a group of photographers, we are a shambles of photographers.
Collective now.
100%.
Oh, this could be interesting.
Let's go and do it, shall we? Come on, let's go and do it.
Let's do it.
Now, learning the ropes on any new genre of photography is tricky. Oh, nice arm. However, you can't help but look particularly shifty when you're learning street photography. I would not buy a used car off any of these chaps. The thing is that when you're trying something new and rather out of your comfort zone, it's all too easy to become overwhelmed. You suddenly become aware of all the distractions and the visual inputs. Well, they compete for attention.
Got a little toy store here with a reflection, but it's the Chucky doll. So what I'm hoping is, this lady comes up here. Oh, it's a dog.
You twit.
I thought it was a little baby. There was a lady with a baby, and I was hoping she was going to look in the window and I was going to get that contrast of spooky toy and kid. That's what I was thinking of. Not a dog though.
Low, the face of enthusiasm. It's not easy, this street malarkey. Being in the right place at the right time and inconspicuous, now that's tricky.
So I'll be honest, I'm really struggling with this. Never ever done street before. Settings wise, 1/200th of a second, f6.3. I'm using the auto focus on my camera, just try and get the focus, and just really, try and look. I'm walking around basically looking for light, looking for things like reflections, looking for shots through the window. So I've got the polarized one as well, just to try and cut through those reflections. I've got a couple of shots already, which I'll pop on screen in a moment. But yeah, I'm going to walk along a bit now and just see if I can try and find something else. I'm really trying to play with that light.
Well, I've actually really enjoyed this. Never done it before. I've done cityscapes and so things like that, but got a new camera, Z8, and what I've done before we've left is set this to like a bleach black and white, and so it's a little bit coloury, very high contrast. So I just like the style of it. I'm shooting in JPEG and RAW, which means that if I don't like the colour profile, I can just change it back to anything. So that's been really good. And then it's kind of a question of tuning in to street. What do you do? I know people shoot through windows. Personally, I find it really hard if someone's looking at you or they notice you. So I would sort of automatically move the camera away, but I'll get a little bit braver, finding little alleys, finding little shapes. And what's really good this time of day is the light is streaming down this street here, which is backlighting people, which really suits this high bleached kind of look. So hopefully I'm going to carry on with this, but actually I'm really enjoying it. I'm really surprised. I've never done it before, but it's definitely something we're going to come back to when it's sunny. So we'll put some pictures on in a second, see what you think.
Obviously the plan is to do some street. By God, I'm struggling. Very harsh light, so shadows are interesting, little alleyways, things like that. But honestly, I haven't found anything at the moment. I'm so struggling. I'm thinking about reflections in the windows, interesting people, camera set for more like someone walking past who's interesting, that's got a good background. So I'm thinking colours of doors and things like that, and contrasts and that. But honestly, I have nothing, absolutely nothing.
While I'm walking around, and it'll be no surprise to you, I'm struggling. I've been, every time I bump into one of the lads, I'm seeing how they're doing and I'm asking them about their settings. And especially with this quite bright light and this blue sky that we've mentioned, I think it's going to be black and white all day long. So yeah, I think I'm at a disadvantage. I really am struggling, but same camera as Dave, so I've no excuses. Let's keep going, let's see what we can find. Well, I've got a new nemesis. Woodland is dead. Long live street photography. This is really tough, but yeah, we push on. I said it before, let's see what we can get. But we're on the other side of the harbour now. I'm looking behind this camera. There's the arcades, lots of flashing lights. I think we'll get some reflections in the glass. Let's have another go.
Well, what I'm struggling with is there's no trees, and I'm just totally out of my depth with this, to be honest. Completely out of my depth. Set my camera up to manual mode as normal. I've upped my ISO to 800 for the bright lights to get the shutter speed up for people walking.
Right, I think I've got a shot that I kind of quite like actually. I've got this pavilion just here, and there's three ladies sitting there eating fish and chips, actually doing Whitby. But they're sitting in quite sort of fun positions, best way I can describe it. So yeah, zoomed in quite a bit actually, just 135mm. And I've got the three ladies there just sitting there eating their chips, but with the light that's coming through as well, it's actually quite nice, quite high contrast scene. I'm thinking possibly black and white for this, but I'll have a look when I get back into post. Just so you know, I'm actually shooting in black and white as well, just to sort of pre-visualise the light, if that makes sense. But when I get back in post, I'll make a choice of whether I use colour or black and white. But let me put that on screen for you now.
So we're just going to interrupt this little street photography session and do something a little bit more bread and butter. Most of the Thumbs Up team, what we do day in, day out is landscapes and seascape photography. So that's what we're going to do. We jumped from Whitby, we're all the way over in Norway. We're in the Lofoten Islands at a lovely place called Ramberg. And there's a classic location here, a little red hut facing out towards the sea. And we're going to see what we're going to do different. Dave's with me here. He's going to go for the classic shot and I'm going to move around a little bit, maybe get something a little bit different.
Oh, I've got location envy.
Okay. Yeah, right, so I'm going to do the classic shot from here. If I turn you around and show you. So this is the little hut. Spoiler alert, I have already shot this, but we have got some photographers on the beach who did ask politely if it was all right. But look at the light we've got at the moment. Absolutely amazing. We've got a snowstorm coming in from the right there. Mountains behind. It's just after sunrise, so the sun's really kicking off. And this shot, often a square, doesn't have to be, but it's about getting completely central or completely lined up, perpendicular to that hut. So you find the middle bit and get really straight on. And this is basically what the shot is going to look like. So I'll grab the camera and I'll go through this with you and show you what I'm shooting. Okay, so there's the shot. Now we've got ISO 64, but what I don't need is an aperture of f16. I'm going to go to something like f11. That's where I generally shoot, because that's the sweet spot of the lens. And then it's a question of just adjusting the shutter speed to suit. Now you might want to overexpose a little bit just to get the whites looking a little bit better, but to me that's just, I can do that in post anyway because I'm shooting in RAW. So something around there. I've got a 3-second delay on it, focusing up on the hut, that's the main thing, and then the rest of it is just about the light. So we press that, and there is the finished shot.
So what I've decided to do, if I spin you around, is I've come over to this left-hand side of the shed, just get it on an angle. Now, although that means I lose the mountains, and that's a little bit disappointing, but for Lofoten, those are fairly tame mountains. There's some absolute monstrous peaks here. So I'm not too sad about that. And what I have got is I've got some light. I've got this, I think it's a snowstorm coming in. The horizon's getting darker and darker. So I'm going to line this up. I've got this lovely stream and it's catching that light as well. It's catching the colour from the sky. I'm going to be very careful. I've got a polarizer on, but I'm going to be careful how I turn it. Don't want to kill those reflections. Looking at it, if I'm very quick, I might just manage to get this shot before another snow flurry comes in. So this may not be the classic, but you know, I'm liking it, I'm liking it. I've lost the mountains, but I'm quite liking that simplicity of it looking out to sea. And with that leading line of that stream, I think I might have something here. So okay, I think I've got that shot in the bag. Just going to have a wander over there. Dave's only about 50 yards over there to my right. He's getting that classic shot, as I just mentioned. Yeah, let's go have a chat with him and see if he's got some good shots. Okay then, so I've headed back to Dave, as I said I was going to do. I've just walked those 50 yards or so back to this main focal point, this square-on shot of the shed. So how'd you get on, Dave?
I got on really well. I did the classic shot, which is perpendicular to the shed. You're slightly above it. It looks really vulnerable and kind of oblique where it is, and that's what makes the shot. So the shed itself, a nice colour, but not the best shed ever in Norway. But where it is, surrounded by this snow, got the storms coming in, it's being bashed and it looks very vulnerable, and that's kind of works really well, square on shot. Footprints are the only problem, but luckily we've come here and there's completely clear snow, so that's really nice. But you look like you had a really nice view down there.
Yeah, so I just headed down there and there's a lovely little stream, a little creek, and on any other day it'd just be a muddy mess and you wouldn't even bother probably taking the shot. With this fresh snow we've got, it's just really nice. It makes a lovely leading line, and I've got a few reflections in the water, as you saw on my little piece down there. But I have to say that this is a classic for a reason, so I think very quickly before we leave, I'm going to get this tripod set up and I'm going to get that shot. You know, as I say, it's a classic, and when am I next going to be in Ramberg? Before we head back to the guys doing the street photography, what we have noticed when we're here is it's incredibly slippy. You've really got to be careful how you walk. And talking of walks, Steve's got something he wants to talk to you about.
I want to just go over something with you so you can practice this at home. And I think you're going to like it, and it's a little quick tutorial. And the tutorial is on how Martin Idakevich, aka Smithy. I know. Martin Idakevich walks. So, I've studied it over the years, and the first thing you need to do is do little paces. So the first thing you've got to practice is just stepping, very short steps, half steps. A little bit like a penguin that walks quickly. So you imagine walking like a penguin, but quickly. That's the first thing you've got to do. So, and then we'll practice that coming back. Now the next thing is chin. Keep the chin up, because he's got a big beard, so you keep the chin up as you're walking. So let's just do that again. And then we need to look around as we're walking. So we'll just practice that. So we'll just glance to the left, just glance to the right, but never ever look at the camera. Like so. And the last critical thing is swing your arms, but only from the elbow. So we must swing the arms only from the elbow. So we're ready? So we're going to put all this together now. Chin up, little steps, swing arms from the elbow. See what I mean?
Steve, you do know he's about 4 inches
The evidence is there.
taller than you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
But there's one element missing. So I brought that today. So bear with, and we'll just go and get it.
We await with bated breath. Oh God.
To get the full effect, you need every element for it to work properly. And the reason why you need the beard is because when he looks with his chin up, he just strokes it slightly every time. So we'll just practice that, and that'll finalise this little tutorial. So don't forget, small little paces, very quickly, like a penguin. Move the arms, but only from the elbows. Same with the legs really. He doesn't actually move the top of his legs, he just moves the bottom of his legs and the bottom of his arms. And then chin up, we'll stroke the beard, and then we'll just look left and right. So let's give that a practice.
It's uncanny.
And that's the Ida Cavage. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
And hello, everybody. I just wanted to go through one quick tip that I use probably on 90% of my images that I find really helps give that sort of painterly look to my images. And I just wanted to give you one example here from a recent trip to Upper Moor near the Peak District, where I've used this trick to great effect to really give a nice painterly image to the image. So with that, we'll jump straight into it. Right, so we're in Lightroom here, and we have two images. On the left-hand side, you've got one which is looking really quite punchy, a lot of contrast in here, which is fine, and it looks quite nice, to be honest with you. But I do like to try and achieve that painterly look to my images. So the image on the right-hand side here, I've applied a trick which just sort of washes out the blacks a little bit and just softens the image ever so slightly. So if you just flip between the two, you can see there's quite actually a significant difference. You may prefer the other one, that's absolutely fine. That's why photography is great, because it's completely subjective. But for me, I really do like this painted look on this image here. So I've made the basic adjustments to the image. As you can see here, I've dropped the highlights, boosted the shadows, so on and so forth. The trick that I'm talking about though is related to the tone curves, or S-curves as I like to call them. So as you can see, we've got this box on the right hand side which kind of represents a histogram, and you've got 4 boxes or 4x4 boxes going from left to right and from top to bottom here. Starting from the left hand side, here you've got what basically is your darkest luminosity, so your blacks. The next box up I would consider to be your shadows. The next box would be your midtones, and then the next one would be your highlights, and then beyond that basically you've got your whites basically. And then going from top to bottom, you've got how much of that you want to actually implement. So, you know, starting from the bottom, not much at all, and going to the top, you can implement a lot more of that. So the first thing I like to do with these tone curves is I like to raise the blacks. So there are no true blacks in the scene. So if I raise that up to maybe about halfway, just as a starting point, you can see it's completely washed out the image. Looks horrible. But we're going to reintroduce some of that contrast that we had in the scene. So on the next line up, which I consider to be the shadows of the image, we can actually drop those back down, and we start to see it reintroduces a bit of contrast into the scene. So somewhere probably about there looks quite good. But it is still looking quite washed out. So what I like to do then is then introduce the S-curve. Now to do that, quite simply, I'll go to the highlights line, place a little dot on the line there, and just lift it ever so slightly until I'm happy with how the image looks. Probably somewhere around there. And as you can see, what it's doing with this line is it has introduced a very slight S-curve, but just gives it that kind of painterly look. So if I turn that effect off and on, you'll see exactly how much of a difference this has actually made. So that is off, that is on. So it's kind of lifted those blacks a little bit just to give a nice touch of softness. And that's pretty much it. You can adjust that then as you wish. You know, if you decide that you've implemented a bit too soft feeling in the image, you can bring those blacks down ever so slightly, maybe introduce a bit more contrast in the shadows. Then also, if you really want to, you can make the midtones pop a little bit more as well. So you place a dot in the midtone section there, and you can give that a little boost as well if you wish. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can see, one really basic tip, and when you start to understand the use of the S-curves, they can be really powerful to achieve a really nice painterly look to your images. Why not have a go next time with one of your images? Anyway, back to the guys.
Well, at least they're not outside an off licence.
What a day it is, what a world we live in. He's eating aggies and I've taken a picture of some strangers and I didn't get beaten up. That's all I've got. That's it, one picture.
It's a new world.
It's just, it is.
Well, there we go. We've done some street for the first time for most of us. What do you think, Cole? What was it like?
I struggle, but I think I made the wrong lens choice.
Okay, what did
I
you
used my wide angle, my 17 to 40, and I think I should have used my 105 to 100 at least.
Right. You're 24
24 to 100.
105, because you need a little bit of telephoto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Couldn't
used
get in as much.
Yeah, I used 24 to 200. What did you do?
I used my 28 to 200, which actually I thought was a good choice in the end. I was able to get those nice wider scenes, but also get really in detail as well. But I found it such a challenge.
Yeah.
More nerves than anything. I do landscape photography to get away from people. But yeah, this is completely alien to me.
It's a good results.
Oh yeah. I really enjoyed it. I really did. And by the end of it, I want to go and do some more.
Yeah. For me, it was really interesting. You put on the front of your lens. What did you put on the front?
Oh, polarizer. Yeah, just to try and get through the reflections of the windows.
I wish I'd done that. Oh well. I actually really enjoyed it. To start with, I was very nervous. Didn't really know what to photograph, but started to photograph, and then it just the pictures seemed to come to me. I photographed a lot of dogs, which is not very odd, but I really enjoyed that. I had my camera on a kind of a bleach bypass kind of look, which I really enjoyed. So that went very well for me by the end, and I'm like you, I'd like to go and do it again. Steve, what do you reckon?
I actually really struggled. I really struggled. I know I haven't got one image, but I thoroughly enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fantastic experience. It's a big learning curve as well.
Yeah, something different.
But very confusing. It's almost like walking into a woods when you're not a woodland photographer. That's how I felt.
That's exactly what I said at first. I like a headless chicken running around. I did my trademark moaning. I'm sure you all heard me. Laughing at me, going, I've got a picture of a guy in a cowboy hat. Sounds brilliant until you see a picture. And you go, yeah, it's a suggy picture, that one. But by the end of it, like Martin, honestly, I absolutely loved it. Really enjoyed it. Would love to do it again. Lens choice, I went completely different to the rest of you. I put on a prime, an 85mm f1.8. Loads of bokeh backgrounds. Whether or not they've worked, I don't know. But certainly back at camera, I'm happy with what I've got. And yeah.
Well, we've had a really good time. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. So thanks ever so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, think about doing so. That'd be really cool for us. Obviously press that like button. And if you haven't seen us on Thumbs Up Photography on Facebook, come and check us out. Join the community. It's growing. It's a lovely place to be. Thanks ever so much for watching once again. And we'll see you next time.
Next up on Thumbs Up Photography, Colin is conspicuous by his absence. Stephen Martin gets some banging winter woodland conditions. Dave shoots star trails in Tenerife, and Gary takes us to Wales for some waterfall photography.
Hello and welcome to Thumbs Up, the photography show.
We put something together.
Started already.
How you going? Let me watch it.
Hello, what you say?
and welcome to Thumbs Up, the TV show. Oh, no.